Oh, ooby-doo, I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like you, choo. You say it's true, and ape like me can learn to be human too.
Hello everyone and welcome to my review of The Jungle Book, the 1967 Disney animated adventure based on the Rudyard Kipling novel. Okay, so the Jungle Book. I never actually stated I was actually going to review this movie, but I thought to myself, hang on a minute, this movie, you know, what? I haven't reviewed a Disney Renaissance film for a while. I think the last one I reviewed was The Little Mermaid, I believe, and that was, or Mulan. I think that was the last one I did. So yeah, and also another reason I'm reviewing this is because this movie is now 50 years old. Yes, it is 2017 currently, and this film was released in 1967. This movie is now 50 years old. Yay! Happy 50th birthday! Happy 50th birthday, Jungle Book. So I thought there's no better time to review this movie. And before you ask, yes, for comparison's sake, I will review the 2016 remake that came out last year, that Jon Favreau directed. I did see that movie in the cinema last year. I think that was the only time I've seen it, so I need to watch it with an open mind. Okay. So, the original Jungle Book. I have a lot of nostalgia for this one, because I watched it a lot as a kid on video. It was one that I always kind of enjoyed when I went back to it. So, the story is that basically it centers around this young boy named Mowgli. He is abandoned by his parents and left in the jungle for some reason, and he is... he gets taken in by a pack of wolves, and when the boy grows up, when he reaches, I think, the age of 10 or something, they have to basically exclude him from the pack because there is a tiger known as Shere Khan who is coming after him because he hates man. He wants to get rid of this man cub, as they call him. So with the help of the panther known as Bagheera, Bagheera tries to lead Mowgli out of the jungle before Shere Khan comes to attack and kill Mowgli. Along the way, Mowgli runs into various characters like Baloo the bear, who's very lovable, oafy kind of bear, who at first says to him, you know, you don't have to leave, you can stay in the jungle and just live the life of a bear. And then Mowgli encounters people like King Louie, who everybody's after this bloody kid, so he has to basically, you know, try and make a decision, you know, whether he should stay or leave. And he starts to question Bagheera and Baloo, and, you know, like, who can he trust? And it kind of goes on from there, and then, you know, that's it. I'm not going to go into any more detail for the plot. There's not much you really need to know. So, the 1967 animated classic, The Jungle Book. How is it? In my opinion, it's good. It's good. I like it. I don't think it's their best. It's good. I'd say this is a perfectly adequate, perfectly decent time. It's good fun, but it's nothing more than that. I don't think this is the best thing they've ever made. You know, I mean, I loved it a lot more when I was younger, and it is very much catered towards younger kids. This is like the least dark thing that they've done. I mean, this is a kind of strange film. There's a lot of weird sequences. Which is what I can say about it. In terms of the story, it's very light on the ground. I never realised how thin the story actually is until I watched it now. I kind of see that as a criticism because they don't really develop the characters. They kind of just, it's Mowgli encountering all these animals, but there's not much event attached to this movie. You don't really feel the stakes of Shere Khan. I mean, he appears quite late into the film anyway, but which I didn't have a problem with. But sorry, I got something in my eye. The early stages of the film, there's no sense of tension. There's no sense of stakes, and I feel that kind of deflates this movie a little bit. And it kind of makes some of the scenes a bit slow. Not majorly. I mean, this movie's not long. It's only 1 hour 15 minutes, so it's pretty short. You know, for it's a Disney Renaissance movie. It's going to be short. I do think what is great about this movie is that it's charming. It's very charming. It's very enjoyable. It's funny. It's very light-hearted, and maybe that's the reason why there's a lack of stakes. I think there's a lack of balance in between light relief and tension. And for me, the light relief kind of overtakes the movie, which is a slight problem in my opinion. And the movie does suffer from a slight lack of character development. I mean, I like Mowgli as a character. He's he doesn't really come of age in this story. I think that's what the intention is, but it just falls a little short. He basically the whole thing with Mowgli is that he basically just makes a decision about staying or going, and in the end, obviously, he decides to leave and be with his own kind, and there's no real arc to his character. He's just kind of like, I mean, he grows to appreciate the people, he grows to trust the characters that he's with. He trusts Bagheera and Baloo by the end, I guess, so you could say that, but it's not enough for me. It's just not really enough. I feel like there's a lack of substance with this movie, which is a shame. I didn't want to have to be so nitpicky with this movie, but when there are flaws, there are flaws. But I can't deny this is undeniably charming. I mean, particularly with the songs. I mean, the music is pretty great. I mean, there are a couple of forgettable songs, and the song with the birds near the very end, like oh, you always need a friend to stand by you, like whatever it was. That one to me was completely unnecessary. You did not need that song. You could have just cut that out. I mean, and those birds, why were they even in it? You didn't need them. I think the best songs are, of course, The Bare Necessities, which is a classic song, and I Want to Be Like You, which is King Louis' song, which Louis Armstrong actually voices King Louis, and just absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They are just great fun. This movie's fun. This is a fun film, and it's great fun. You can kind of mosey along with it, but you don't really. There's not much of a story. There's only a basic narrative. It kind of makes sense, but yeah, that's it. There's not much dramatic weight to it, which is a shame, really. I like the characters. I think the characters are good. I mean, Mowgli, he's a good character. He's basically a brat. He's basically a kid. He's like, oh, I don't want to leave the jungle. Oh, I don't want to go to the man village. And by the end, he makes his decision and he decides to leave. Excuse me, which is obviously the best move. You have Bagheera, the panther. He's a good character. He's the one who's trying to sort of father Mowgli, essentially, and seeing the way he goes through that is very interesting. And my favourite character has to be Baloo. Baloo is charming in this movie. The best performance is indeed Phil Harris, who voices Baloo, and his song Bare Necessities is just great. Baloo is so charming, and the fact that he grows to eventually, see Bagheera's point of view and see, oh, okay, this kid is in danger, he needs to go. But Mowgli doesn't understand that, the tiger is coming to eat him. Mowgli doesn't realise how much danger he's in, and they're trying to snap him out of this mindset that the jungle is the only place he can stay, which is obviously bullshit. So it's interesting to see the minor conflicts between the characters, I guess. I mean, the other characters are good as well. You have the snake, Carr, who's voiced by the same actor that voices Winnie the Pooh. Creepy, right? Yeah, I mean, he only appears in 2 scenes. But, yeah, he's a very interesting character. When he tries to hypnotise Mowgli. Those are interesting scenes. And, of course, King Louis is just a delight to watch. And... yeah, this movie's just it's just charming. It's just charming. That being said, there's not really much I can say about it. I mean, the direction it's fine, but there's nothing remarkable about it. Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, the movie, there are a couple of scenes which are unnecessary. I think another big problem with this movie, which I've noticed, is that there are a lot of shots that are reused. As a person who is into creative media, I pick up on these things, and I picked up on this. It was blindingly obvious. There are shots that are reused, particularly with Carr. snake when he falls out the tree. They reused that and they just relight it in. They just try and fake it by relighting it. And also when Mowgli's laughing, they change the angle of when Bagheera is there or there. It's blindingly obvious, and it is a little bit distracting. I can't deny. But all the vocal performances are great. The music's a ton of fun. I mean, and again, the song at the end with the little girl, like, I will go and fetch the water, blah 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 blah. I couldn't give a fuck about that. Like, though that song was, yeah, it was all right, I guess. I mean, the animation is nice. I can't deny that. The animation is pretty cool for its time. But again, they were a little bit lazy with this one when they reused the same shots. I want to love this more, but I can't. But it's good. It's good. There's a lot of charm to it. I think Shere Khan as the villain is great. I mean, I love the actor's performance. I mean, even though Shere Khan doesn't feature in the film very much, I don't mind that. I like that we build up to him. I think that's one of the strengths of this movie, is that we don't see Shere Khan until near enough the end of the second act of the movie. And he's just so intimidating with that voice. We'll get to Idris Elba's Shere Khan in my review of the remake, which will come very soon. But, you know, and it's written okay, but again, there's not much substance to the script. It's a very paper-thin narrative, you know, meat and potatoes. I forgot to mention the herd of elephants that go marching. They made me laugh. There are some funny moments in this film as well. Single file. That was good. Even though they don't really have much of a place in the story, they're just kind of there. But, you know, it's nice to see them, I guess. It's basically a lot of encounters. That's how I see it. But I'd say it was definitely my version of the Jungle Book when I was a kid. I've only recently bought the Blu-ray, and I've always enjoyed watching it. I mean, it's definitely good. It's probably not as good as I remember. I think now, looking at it as an adult, I see it in a different light, and I see quite a lot of problems. It's a flawed movie, but it's a good one. It's good. It's decent. Yeah, I just think it needed a bit more. The script needed to be fleshed out a bit more. There's a, you know, the emotional impact is nice at the end when, well, Baloo almost dies and then he comes back. It's very light-hearted, as I said. It's very light-hearted. I think the climax is pretty good when they battle Shere Khan. That's pretty entertaining, and they tie the stick of fire to his tail and he runs off. That's pretty cool. But yeah, there's not much I could say with this movie. I think the movie's directed by Wolfgang Reitherman. That's an interesting name. I imagine that Mowgli was voiced by his son, Bruce Reitherman. Yeah, I imagine that was what happened. But yeah, I think it's good. It's fun. It'll entertain you for an hour and 20 minutes. Well, or hour and 15 minutes. But I don't think it's the best thing that they've ever made. But I think kids will get a kick out of it. Although now they'll probably watch the remake more because it's the newer version. I mean, this tells the basic story of the Jungle Book. I would have liked to have seen a more fleshed out story, which I think will be the remake. So I look forward to watching that and comparing the two, and I will then decide which one I prefer. But as this stands, this was a childhood favourite of mine. I mean, I don't love it as much as I used to, but it's definitely a good film. It's entertaining, and I'm going to give The Jungle Book 1967 a 7 out of 10.
Oh, ooby-doo, I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like you. Choo,
yeah, for all the good, there are some problems. It's a mixed bag, but overall, pretty good. Pretty good. So, that's my thoughts on the 1967 Jungle Book, and happy 50th birthday! Woo! Celebrate good times, come on! Sorry, I couldn't help but do that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot better than some of the animated movies we've got this year. I mean, Cars 3, I mean, who gives a fuck about that movie? Oh, God. I mean, and fucking Emoji Movie. you may or may not get a rant for that. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's my review of The Jungle Book. Stay tuned for my review of the remake, the live-action remake. Until then, thank you guys all for watching, and as always, I'm MrTardis11. See ya.